With any competitive game, there is always a secret formula that a player can apply. They can use this in their own gameplay in order to climb the ranks faster than they normally would. Overwatch 2 is no exception to that. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you the secret formula and the methods I used to rank up fast in Overwatch 2. Enjoy! Fellas, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I'm about to spill all my secrets on how I got out of low elo quick in Overwatch 2. But before we do that, make sure to subscribe. We're almost at 1500. I love you all. Wasting no time getting right into it, the first thing I want you guys to understand is playing your role in Overwatch 2 is probably one of the most important things you can do in the entire game. In general, tanks are supposed to create space for the rest of your team, DPS deal damage and help peel your supports, and also find final blows, and supports provide utility and also heal your team. Now, depending on what role you main, it's important to also understand how the other roles function within a team. Having a good grasp on how each role is supposed to be played will help you climb on the rank ladder overall. Most people you see at higher ranks are at least proficient enough to play the other roles. While yes, you still might have a main role that you're good at better than others, you still should understand how each role works and be at least decent on them. Overwatch 2 is a very complex team game. It's important that you work with your teammates in order to win the game. On top of knowing what your role does, it's also important that you understand which characters are good in specific situations. For example, I shouldn't be picking Pharah into 2-3 hit scans. It's just going to make the game so unplayable, and there's probably a better pick that you can choose. If you take anything away from this video, let it be this. Switching characters will guarantee you more elo. If you actually switch characters correctly and counter pick what the enemy team has, more than likely you're going to win way more games. I know we've all had it where we get that one teammate that just absolutely refuses to swap. Don't be that guy. If you're actually trying to climb, play around what the enemy team has. Counter pick them. Don't be afraid to play some new characters. I'm telling you right now, it'll benefit you greatly in the long run if you learn how to play new characters instead of just sticking with one character. This has many amazing benefits to it. First, it'll allow you to actually win more games. Second, it'll allow you to be more versatile. And third, learn more characters. By having a few characters in your arsenal, it makes it so you can counterpick basically anything the enemy team has. Now, for example, me on DPS, I primarily play hit scan characters, but if I have to, I'll go Genji if they have heavy hit scan on their team. It's just a matter of knowing which characters are good into each other and understanding the matchups. Matchup video coming soon, stay tuned. Another reason why it's good to swap as well, and once you get comfortable with multiple different characters, you'll know which characters are good in specific situations. For example, say you're playing Soldier 76 and the enemy team has a Reinhardt. You should instantly go Junkrat. Instantly. Moving into some gameplay tips that everyone can apply to their own game. The first one, and I can't stress how important this is in Overwatch 2, is positioning. If you know how to position correctly, it will make or break you as a player. To be honest, the amount of times where I see supports running in first and dying first is just absolutely insane. In general, the tanks are supposed to be playing up front, blocking all the damage, soaking up damage, and also trying to whittle down the enemy team. I would say DPS, depending on which DPS you're playing, you play at sort of that middle range ground behind your tank, but also not behind your supports. And supports in general should be the furthest back, healing up your teammates and providing utility. Now guys, especially as support, if you can position correctly, you'll climb very, very quickly. Literally, all you have to do is just play behind your tank at a safe distance and not get caught out by the enemy team. And also, just play easy characters as well. You don't have to be playing super hard characters. Don't go look at a tier list and be like, oh, Kiriko's S tier, I'm gonna play Kiriko every game. The amount of times where I see this and the Kiriko actually just suck and they teleport to your tank when he's in the middle of the entire enemy team is just absolutely ridiculous. This has to be my favorite topic to talk about. Please communicate with your teammates. Now, this part, it might be a secret to some, but if you communicate with your teammates, you're more than likely going to win so many more games. I just don't understand what's happened. Back in the day, 5-6 years ago, you would play a 5v5 game and everyone would be communicating on the mic. You go in an Overwatch game and it's rare to find one guy talking. What is going on? Why are we so socially awkward? Can we just communicate with our teammates, please? Like, we can't even see each other's face over the mic. Just communicate with your teammates. You're going to win way more games. Objectively speaking, though, the things you want to be communicating is obviously low health targets. If you have no cooldowns, for example, I'm playing Baptiste in the background footage. If I use my lamp, I'm going to say, hey, no lamp for 10 seconds, no lamp for 5 seconds. I'm going to call when I have it. Even the little things like that is very important information to have, and if your tank player is good, they can use that information to their advantage. Not even just the tank player, everyone, for example. A perfect example of when you should always be communicating is playing against a Mei. For example, if Mei uses her wall, you gotta say, hey, oh, Mei used her wall, let's go in now, because it is a long cooldown, and that's how you beat Mei. You have to play around her cooldowns. Somebody's gotta be the voice of the team. If it's not gonna be you, nobody else is gonna do it. That's how I look at it. But if you have that voice, even if you communicate just a little bit, it'll help you win way more games. If you're calming, hey, let's go in now, like so-and-so cooldowns down, like just little things like that adds up, it makes the game so much easier. I'm gonna be honest, besides actually gameplay mechanics, communication is probably the most important thing you can do in Overwatch 2 to win more games. Now I briefly want to talk about high grounds. High grounds in Overwatch 2, they play a critical role in actually playing the game and winning games. If you're playing high ground, more than likely you're going to have an advantage. High ground is usually much safer than being on the ground, especially when you're playing against somebody like a Junk. For example, playing high grounds with characters such as Baptiste and Soldier allows you to rain down abilities from above. Specifically with Baptiste, it makes it for your right click easier to aim, also your lamp, and your left shift you can drop down and then boost back to high ground instantly. High ground also allows you to oversee the entire team fight. If you're sitting high ground as Baptiste in the middle of a team fight and you're just getting free heals off without any challenge, more than likely you're gonna win the team fight. Arguably, supports and tanks play the most critical role in the game. DPS, they're kind of just there to finish the final blows. So if both your supports can find positioning, particularly on the high ground, and your tank can position correctly as well, more than likely you're gonna win team fights and win more games. So my advice, look to play the high ground whenever possible. The last primary point I want to talk about is ultimate usage. Ultimates play an integral part in Overwatch 2 in the game function and also the balance. Understanding when to use your ultimate can determine if you're a good player versus a great player. It is important to understand what each ultimate is trying to accomplish within a team fight and play to that strength. Each ultimate in the game functions differently, so you'll have to learn these timings just by playing the game. However, if it's a 4v5 team fight, don't waste your ultimate unless you think you can win the fight. For example, if you're 3v5 and you have a Ramatra and Ana up, and they still both have ultimate, it might still be winnable. You have to understand what each ultimate does in the game, the power level of them, how they could potentially turn the team fight. It's different though. If you have a Doomfist ultimate in an Ana and a 3v5, it's way different than having Ramatra and Ana in a 3v5. Understanding what each character does in the game is crucial to winning games, guys. It really, really is. If you have a general idea of what each character does and what their ultimate does, you can play around that. It will help you understand what you're trying to accomplish within a team comp. Another thing I want to bring up about ultimates is don't be afraid to use them. They're there to use. There's literally no reason to save it. You could start farming up your next ultimate after you use your current one. But if you decide to save it, you're missing out on all that potential ult charge and you're just wasting the resource. And my last secret formula tip, just find a duo queue or a trio queue. It makes the game astronomically easier, especially if you're playing two different roles because you have more control over the game. If you have a 3 queue, 1 tank, 1 DPS, 1 support, the game should feel so much easier. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about these tips down below in the comments. Also, I'm creating a Discord. I'll leave a link down below in the description to that. Anyways, like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe. My name is Halzeey, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.